can you guys turn those on? And again, we have 3 mics. I know there was some hearing or talking, so just if you guys can just make sure there's a manual one here too as we're going. So again, let's call to order the second meeting of the Mill Creek Township Transmission Advisory Committee. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First thing on the agenda is the approval of our first meeting minutes.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Awesome. Okay, next is kind of getting, I think, into the meat here. So we had the first subcommittee, meetings. If you just give me a second here, I want to just maybe give a quick report from me, and then let's get into kind of the subcommittee report. So just a couple things happened before even this first subcommittee. So just to kind of get everything on the record, John DePlacido did reach out to Jerry Andre from AWOL. We had about an hour-long conversation on last Monday. And I think it was really good. So a couple things came from that I think he said. So first of all, he said we're off to a good start. He did listen to the first meeting. He also gave props. I mean, we've got to give some props for where it's due is to the township website and kind of the time frame of that. He kind of really agreed with too, so I thought that was good. The other thing that I thought was really good is we talked about 3 things that we need to really focus on, right? The administrative code, the codification of the ordinances, and, looking at that for a search committee, talking through that. Mill Creek has general code as our codifier. He said that they were the best of the best of the best. So I think that kind of made me feel pretty good that we can get an SOW with those guys for that, which we can talk about later. The other thing that kind of came with this too is we did have in our manager search subcommittee turned into kind of almost a budgetary meeting too. So we had a couple really good conversations with that I think I want to get into. Did have a conversation with Kim Clear today. So when we get into kind of that, when we get in our working session, we'll have more on that. But I think all of those things I just want to kind of throw out there as well. So having said that, I'd love to hear, again, if we want to do kind of the manager search subcommittee report first. Yep.
Yes, so the manager subcommittee met, which was me, Mr. Laird,
Mr. McGrath.
McGrath, yep. All right, and so during that manager stuff, we talked about, I did email to them, the ICMA has a recruitment guidelines for selecting a local government administrator to look over. The ICMA also has an employment sample agreement that just is kind of a fill in the blank that could be looked at and edited however we need to. Brian did have the description of the township manager, which came from PSATs, and this was another thing, I didn't show you guys that one. And then I did reach out to ICMA and PSATs and ask them both if I reached out to APMM and PSATs and requested reputable search firms, and one of them got back to me telling me he'll get me a list, and didn't hear anything from the other one, but I'm sure it's coming. And also did send out that question to General Code, but haven't heard anything back from them. But so working on getting a list of reputable search firms. And if you guys want, I can email out all these materials to everyone else / print.
Yeah.
Here, we'll call these the Dennis copies.
There's nothing wrong with, you can't hack this.
No. And I think, one of the things that, again, with talking with Jerry and with the search committee, we have some things in order here, right? So the codification really can't happen or shouldn't happen until the administrative code is complete, because that's the rules that will then flow into the codification. The search committee really can't begin until all the rules are done so that this person understands what they're going to be doing. So I think from a time frame standpoint, we're in a good spot. We're going to talk today a lot about the administrative code as we go here. But Cody, do you or John, do you guys want to give a report kind of what we talked about there and then kind of flow through into kind of the working session with what we want to do with the RFP?
Yeah, so we went through.
Sorry.
Yeah, so we went through a discussion about it, which is a draft proposal for the RFP, thinking about how many different firms we could reach out to that would be interested in helping us get our codification correct moving forward, to have that second set of eyes on it, so that way we, cross our Ts, dot our Is, and this was the proposal we came up with, so. Anything else to add, John?
Well, yeah, and this document is basically formatted from the commission, the Government Study Commission request RFP for help in doing that process.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I took that and just modified it to whatever I thought was applicable here. And it's up for others' discussion. Tom sent it out for review. If everybody has any comments, more than happy to do that. But I think it's covered what I think we need to cover, maybe even a little bit more. And I've had discussion with a couple other, or one in particular here, this Pennsylvania League I talked to today, and they're more than happy to get it, another place to send it, other than ALM and whoever else the supervisors want to do. So
Excellent.
I think it's going to be well accepted. I think everybody, honestly, everybody's excited about it downstate. I mean, they're talking about it and waiting for it to come out. So I think it's going to be a good thing for Mill Creek.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Good.
Okay, and I think that kind of flows into kind of the working session here. So a couple quick things on the RFP. As John said, he kind of took and modified what the study commission did, and then I kind of, put my 2 cents in. I know we're going to have some conversations because, Kylie, you have more than like 2 cents, maybe you have a couple dollars to kind of throw into this as well, which is good, which was the whole point. The other, I think, cool thing that I'd like to kind of throw out here is obviously, Kylie, we've talked about this. I did meet with Kim Clear, or Supervisor Clear today, was very receptive to this. So the process for this would be is for us to discuss this here, for any kind of changes that we want to make. And obviously, I think that there's probably some good changes that we can make. This would then be presented to the supervisors. The supervisors then would take it up at which I've told it would be taken up at the next meeting. We would kind of be there, or I will be there just to kind of explain it. The vote would go, this has to go out from the supervisors. So again, we assumed a week-ish for that to go out, if there's anything that needs to be changed from the solicitor or anything like that. And then, once we receive that back, us as a committee would then review, talk about the response to it back. And what we've thought through is to send it to all of the local firms, right? So McDonald Illig, which is the solicitor's firm now, send it to there, send it to Knox, send it to Eldricken, send it to possibly Jerry Natufsky, which we kind of discussed, AWOL, and then John, you just gave 2 other kind of consultancy firms that does this as well. So there'd be 6 or 7 groups that we would send out for the specific one-time deal of creating the administrative code. Sending that back in kind of segments as we go, or, that's a discussion we can have today too of kind of all at once. Obviously, the solicitor's going to have to be involved with that as well. So I just want to kind of set the table. That's kind of at least how the subcommittee, I think we thought that through. And then I'd love to just open it up now too for discussion, if that's all right with you guys, to talk about the RFP. If there's anything that you'd like to see changed, updated, and then we can do that and we can get this to the supervisors tomorrow after we kind of have a thought. Kylie, you look like you have some things.
Matt wanted to.
You want to start? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I do want to start, and I appreciate the document put together. I wanted to go first because I do have some concerns. Mainly, my concern is with the timeline and the timing.
Okay.
In my mind, the December 31st deadline is very arbitrary and very early. And then the RFP, understandably, in order to meet that deadline, is then even more accelerated and even more early. The RFP calls for proposals to be presented and completed by November 1st of this year. That's a full 14 months before they're even needed or would ever be adopted. I just think that this is kind of being rushed for no reason. It's something that we can take our time with and we can develop in a more reasoned pace. And so that's, that's my biggest concern, and I know you want to go through and discuss other things, but I just wanted to talk about that because I don't see a need for us to be accelerating this so quickly in doing this.
Other than what you were suggesting earlier, that in order to really do a search for a manager, it would be nice to have an idea of what that manager is going to be doing.
I understand that, but again, I don't think that we would be searching for a manager until the middle of next year. And the other part, and we'll get to it when we get into more detail, is the majority of this, if not all of it, is spelled out already in the optional plans law.
Yep.
And what was voted on by the voters. There aren't a whole lot of options. I mean, I can open this up right now and read to you what the duties of the manager are. Same thing with the duties of the council. So I just personally, myself, have a concern with how quickly we're moving.
So what you're saying, though, is once it gets in the hands of the law firms or whatever who are going to be doing the work, it shouldn't take them long to do it.
I don't believe it should, no, correct. But again,
Most of it's already spelled out.
Yes. Which, I mean, to be honest, when my feelings personal is that I don't know why it couldn't be done in-house with our council and with our, our staff.
So I think a couple things with that is, number one, maybe it will be. I mean, we're allowing kind of McDonald Illig to be a part of this, number one. I think there is a rush. And the reason I think that there is a rush is because, and again, understanding that a lot of this stuff is spelled out, that the people who are running in the primary need to know the full rules that we have kind of. And again, I understand that they can probably go look and see the vast majority of what we're doing, but I think something should be codified, for the lack of a better word, from this, that we have this administrative code, the solicitor has looked at it, we totally agree with it, this is what we as an advisory committee are going to pass on, so at least if you're running in that primary, you're going to need to know in January, February, and that's why I think even having, and again, we can move that to a December 31st, I just thought I want to give that a little bit of leeway, but that was the reason for my thought of kind of
What would
doing
be
it as quick.
We'd have to find this out. The last day that someone who was in the primary would be able to withdraw. Because that would be the deadline for someone who was thinking about running for office. If they read that, oh, okay, this isn't what I was thinking that the job was, I want out. So that would be between sometime when they submit their petitions to run for supervisor and the day that they would be able to take their name off the ballot.
Right. You mean council?
Whatever we decide that we're going to be calling them.
I think so people don't get confused, the new people should be referred to as council.
Well, that's,
It'll take me some time to get used to that,
it's
too.
up, it's going to be up to this transition committee to, right? To make that,
I mean, that was, that was the recommendation, and I think most of the other,
to go council?
to say council, not supervisors, right? That was the recommendation of the study guide, or the study commission also, I think most, that was something I was going to bring up too, just, I think there's a little bit of a change in that cultural.
Yeah, it's in the optional plans.
So, I mean, but I mean, again, that's kind of, Matt, that was kind of my thought process. I mean, I hear you, and if this isn't going to take that long, I would rather have it get done earlier than later, just, again, for all of those kind of, making sure that, again, the search committee, when we want to do that, and the other thing is, from a budgetary standpoint, I think that we're in a good spot to have that done. Again, we're not going to get a budget, so we have to get budget out of our terminology, but line items can be paid for by the supervisor. And again, in talking to Supervisor Claire, and I'm not going to pigeonhole her here at all because we didn't have this hardcore of a discussion, but, we talked about there's three things that we need to have funding for, or line items paid for the committee. Number one is, again, this administrative code. Number two is the codification with general code. Number three is if we choose and we think that a search firm is the right way to go, which we haven't had that discussion, but I think that's one of the main things. Now, those can be done in 2027 in that budget, so we'd have conversations with that. But I think that this, again, my personal opinion, that this needs to be done sooner than later, because this sets up everything that we want to do kind of going down the road.
One thing I think to think about, so you keep saying that it's going to affect someone's decision whether to run or not. I would argue it's not. As someone who ran, I wasn't sitting there reading the second-class township code to decide if I was going to run or not.
But it's been the same way forever. This is totally different.
She's new to the area. She
It's,
didn't know.
it's,
I mean, the rules are totally different, right? So if you, right now, if you think you're running, you may think you are a supervisor.
but in general, you do know what you're running for because it's a council, you can,
But we can say in general, but why would we want to say that? Why wouldn't we say, hey, this is what the administrative code is, this is exactly the rules? Why would we want to leave anything up to any interpretation? I don't, like, what is the benefit of that, I guess? What is the benefit of waiting
Time.
compared, but I agree, but we kind of just said that this is going to be done relatively quickly. So why would this get done better if we waited? I guess that's, if I can get a,
I guess I'm thinking more about the concurrency of it, the need for it, the fact that it's being done so early. And again, this isn't something that anybody here would adopt. This would be what the new council would potentially choose to adopt. So we're giving them recommendations as to what the code should say on day one. So that, it really will not have any bearing or any need to be completed until January 3rd, when it's...
I mean, I disagree with that too, Matt, just because, again, this is the rule, this is the Constitution, and we can say we understand it. We do, because we've all read it, we've all looked at it. After this, codification may not even, I mean, that's what we've heard as well. No one's going to codify the ordinances, changing the ordinances from the power structure of what they are until there's an absolute administrative code that they can say Mill Creek is going to use this to now codify.
If I could, I'm sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt.
no.
I want to make sure that we're all starting from a basis of verbiage that we're all on the same level, and then that the public understands. I guess I'm not 100% sure what we're talking about when we talk about codification. Because the way that codification works, at least, the way it's always worked here, is that an ordinance is passed. For example, like, let's just say the administrative ordinance on day one, they pass that. It is now law, depending on when the effective date is. This one would be January 3rd, and it becomes a law and it becomes part of the township code. But codification is actually taking what was in that ordinance and putting it into the big book that's the code, so that it's got a table of contents and everything. But that cannot be done until after the ordinance is adopted. So it's kind of like this just, after all of these ordinances are adopted, they are officially law, and then codification is just the ability for everybody to see them.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of the reworking, if you want to say it. We've been using codification, but the reworking of every single ordinance, and again, if kind of the things that I've looked at, there's like 325 of them that have a structure that says supervisors, board of supervisors, that they have the power, right? All of those ordinances need to be changed from a power structure of the supervisors to now the person who's going to be the paid government, the paid manager, right? So all of that needs to be done. All of those need to be changed. That can't happen, in my opinion, until we have the rules to say what that power... Now, again, are the rules already pretty much pre-written? Yeah, but they're not pre-written to where you say, hey, this is Mill Creek's plan, and this is now, if you're going to go and codify, change these ordinances, this is the power structure that we are officially going to, as official as we can get, going to be using. So from what I have seen, that is kind of the leapfrog of how this works, is administrative code, recodification, rechanging the power structure of it. I'm not using maybe the right word, but the changing of the power structure of the ordinances so that they match what we're doing with the new optional code.
I guess if I could, just so that we're, trying to set the right level where everybody's talking about the same thing, I would suggest that we talk about it in writing an administrative code and then amending current ordinances, because like I said, codification is one specific thing where it all gets bundled up at the end. after it's all passed. So just kind of maybe
The amendment-
eliminating
yeah,
that
no,
word.
I appreciate
No, I
that.
just, I think for everybody moving
100%,
forward.
100%. So the amending of the ordinance is to change the power structure to the new way of the new government structure.
Gotcha, just to make sure that amending the ordinances so that they comport with the optional plans law and how. Okay.
I think we all kind of agree that it's kind of a rigid format where we're going with this thing as far as what we need to do. And at least we have an outline, I got a cold, I'm sorry, on what somebody needs to do to get that way. And I don't see that getting it done early is an issue. Certainly won't be a financial issue. We're not asking for anybody to, come in on Saturdays and Sundays and do this. The thought is get it done before the primary so that somebody can look at it and see the change, because it is a big change. And
Oh, I have a question. I thought last time we had talked about maybe reaching out to some of these places and asking them what they estimate a timeline would look like.
I mean, we have that kind of in the RFP as well.
But did they say oh yeah, that should work for us? What was it, 3-4 months?
I think it's easily done think of what the commission did over we had 9 months, and it was kind of arduous at times. But we have a direction now. We know what we're doing. We have a form. We have things that they need to do. I think it's going to go quick.
I know, I'm just
Yeah.
wondering.
And I don't think it would be a monetary thing where we're spending extra money to get it done early. And I think the advantage is far outweigh not doing it as soon as we can, honestly, and get it done.
Understood. I just wanted to air my concerns. I did, to your point, Kylie, the Allegheny League of Municipalities, who is the one that did the government study, worked with the Government Study Commission and did the report, they did give a proposal at the same time that they gave a proposal for the government study. So their potential phase 2 was development of administrative code, which I think is what we're talking about. They proposed an hourly rate of $120 an hour with an estimate of hours to do it at 410. So that worked out to about $49,200. They proposed not to exceed a $51,200, but that was their proposal back in '24.
410 hours doesn't
Correct me if I'm
compute
wrong,
in my
but
mind.
it's not like suddenly Jim Block is no longer going to be around. Isn't he supervisor / becoming a council member for how many years? So you are going to have, you make it sound like sometimes all of a sudden, all right, all of you out, new people in. That's not the way this is supposed to work.
No, I don't think anybody said that.
No, but, so the rush to hurry up and do it, there's still going to be people, it's not like suddenly someone's not going to
What is
drive
what is the benefit of waiting?
I'm not saying to wait. What I'm saying is, you're making it
So
sound
it's
like
just
no
about-
one's
it's-
driving the car.
No, what I'm saying is we have 3 things that we need to get done.
I agree.
One of them, we can get done now. We can at least send the RFP out. We can maybe have a discussion if we think that it's going too fast. I see absolutely zero reason not to do this first, get it done, have the initial rules totally set, so then we can actually we can have a timeline that we're not rushed on anything else. In my opinion, this is the most important thing that we do. And we don't do anything. It's pretty much written. I don't think it's going to be that big of a thing. Most of the deal is written. Maybe there's a couple things that we can vote on for a couple nuanced things, but 99% of that code or the law is pretty much already written.
I guess the issue here, though, would be if this committee says we're going to we would like the supervisors to send this out, the RFP, and the supervisors say, well, that sounds nice, but we don't have any money to pay for it. So no, we're not going to send it out.
Well,
That's the problem for us.
maybe it happens, but again, there's no reason not to send the RFP out. And again, just having conversations, and I think that there would be a positive look if we brought an RFP back with the amount of money that we thought was, number one, reasonable for the township, number two, was an expertise that they had. I believe that that would go through. I don't know that for sure. It would still have to be a vote. There's still no reason to not send an RFP out, get as much information as this we're an advisory group. We advise as much as we possibly can, get as much information as we can. If we want to say, hey, let's take this to the supervisors and have them vote because we'd like to do that, that's fine.
Well, then should our game plan then be, let's get it, we have a price, let's get a couple more estimates as to what we think this might cost, and then present that to the supervisor.
That's all I'm saying now.
Here's an RFP, and that's about how much we think it's going to
Well,
cost.
I think we go with the RFP first. I mean, that was 2024, and I don't know, that was a scope. This is a better scope because it's more current. So
But-
let's ask for this first.
No, it's good to ask the supervisors to send this out. What I'm saying is, it'd be nice if we're going to ask the supervisors to send this out, to give them some idea as to what it's going to cost.
Well,
A ballpark number. Otherwise, the supervisors may say, well, this is very nice, and you guys get a nice job on this, but we're not going to send it out because we don't know how much it's going to cost.
Well, why would they care at this, I mean, I'm sure they would care.
We do, and we have done that, like, say, roughly how much are we looking at here? We tabled a decision to just pay a settlement that, just because we didn't have the numbers in front of us.
At this second, though, nobody's asking Mill Creek to pay for anything, right? So I think we're trying to get the numbers. That's all we're trying to do right now, is send an RFP out to get the numbers, to have another discussion, to see, maybe we'll be like, hey, you're right, all this is bad. The solicitor should, I don't know, but I mean, we don't have any, I mean, other than, I would say, if it was me, 30, 50 grand, something like that, maybe it comes back at 12, I don't know. But that's what I want to see. And I think to put people's kind of name to their number is the smartest thing that we could do to get the numbers to make the proper decision. And it doesn't cost anything to do.
Well, my thought would be just call up the firm that you're thinking of, wherever it gets sent out to, say, have you written an administrative code before? What did it cost?
They're not going to tell me that. And I will tell you why. I've had a couple discussions with this, just off with friends, talking about kind of who are attorneys. And again, it's looking at the administrative code, looking at Mill Creek, even the Tim Walkers of the world, right, are not going to just be like, hey, it's going to be X amount. I think we can figure out it's going to be in that realm of that 20, 30, 40 grand. But again, I don't know what that is, and I still don't see what. We're just trying to get information. That's all we're trying to do.
You're saying we make a recommendation to the supervisors to send this out in hopes that it comes back at a reasonable price.
If it comes back at $500,000 for everyone, then we're not going to, I mean, obviously, we're not going to present anything, but we have no idea. So let's find out, and it doesn't cost anything.
but there has to be a transition. There has to be these changes.
Well-
One way or another, there has to be these changes.
Somebody has to do it at some point.
Well, yeah, but I think, we're sending out the RFP. I would then, in that case, I would give a workable deadline just to get the best answers, because a firm could then completely throw it out to say, I can't have it done by then.
We're having that conversation right now. Like, I totally agree. If you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
think that.
I'm ready to dig in if you want to dig in.
No, let's go. Dig in. Again, it was the first, I mean, it's kind of John's and I's, our first go at it, to bring to the committee, to have that discussion. If we think that the time frame is too short, we kind of just went on the study commission. It took roughly about 3 weeks for the proposals to come back. That's kind of why we did that. So if we think that it's a totally different number, we have time, Matt, to your point, right? It doesn't have to be at that, but I just want to get things, and I don't want to see this struggle through a September, October to bring to supervisors, or November, when we're getting in again to I personally believe that this needs to be done by at least the end of the year, so anybody running understands what they're running for. Having said that, let's move this on to just a discussion on the RFP. I know there's changes, Kyle, I'd love to hear them. The dates and the times, guys, again, that was all it's a first go at it. So let's have that discussion.
It says draft.
If I could, just real quick before I get started, I just want to say, I know you guys put a lot of work in this, and I hope you don't feel like you're being attacked. It's just, this is what we have to react against, and so when it comes up, I just really appreciate all the work that went in.
No, all good, all good. And that's kind of why, if we're all yes in the whole thing, then we're not getting the whole thing out of this. So I think this is all good stuff to kind of think through.
So my thoughts were, before looking at the actual proposal, when you look at the model ordinances that you gave us, one of the main things we're going to have to spell out is how much power does the manager have? And a lot of that's going to be up to our recommendation. So if you're looking at that, like the first one here is College Township, and it has powers and duties, and I skipped in the binder
Number
that
21, page-
Tom gave us last time. Oh, sorry, go to page 22 on that one. Sorry, I feel like a teacher. Turn to page.
Good, you're good, I got it in there.
So there you'll just see a list of powers and duties. The manager shall, and then we have A through M, just different things there that this township decided the manager is in control of. Now, I think if we just ask someone to write an RFP without deciding these things ahead of time, like, well, we write it so that the manager has this, this, and that, before it gets sent out, I think, or maybe not before it gets sent out, but before someone is working on it, I think we should have those types of things thought out.
I think it's a really good point. I think that should be part, and I think I tried to spell that out too, right, is, I wanted, and my thought was to do it in chapters, right? So write the chapter, one is the powers of the manager, right? Second is the powers of the council. Like, however those are kind of broken, there's like 9 things I think that we kind of looked at. And then have that discussion, because I think there's things that we don't know. I mean, we don't know all this, and that's why I think having that help as well, but there are going to be things that we're going to have to decide. And to have that discussion when we're going through those things, I think is important, other than to be like, hey, we want to do this, when to be honest, we can look at what other townships have done, but I think that's one of the things that we want that help with, to have that discussion, to have it written, instead of doing it ahead of time.
So you're saying to discuss with the lawyer what's the best way?
Yeah, and I think when we go chapter by chapter, to have that discussion, and then again, I think there's public discussion that maybe could happen with that too, for each specific chapter as we kind of go. And that's why, again, we can say this can get done very quickly, but I think doing it that way, we're taking the time to be a little bit more thoughtful and have these discussions of what these power structures should be, what does that mean for Mill Creek specifically. So I think you're right. I think just the timing of it maybe is different, in my opinion, of what that should look like.
In my mind, I didn't really picture the firm, like kind of like us giving direction, and then they go off and write, and we look at it and say, yay, nay, fix. That was my picture, that was what I pictured.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, John.
Well, Kylie, the manager portion, I think is what you're talking about, is going to be discussed, but it's not really part of the RFP? I mean, the duties and all that?
I was
Talking
just
about-
saying, like,
yeah.
we should give whoever's writing it our guiding ideas,
Yeah, and the commission also recommended some language for managers.
Maybe we could do that after too, like
Yeah.
as we're talking, or we add that in, like, hey, this is kind of one of the ways that we want to manage that, or give that suggestion, but
Maybe there's different ways that they would like to have that done as well. But again, that's a discussion that we definitely should have.
And if I may, Kylie, just to your point, the College Township powers and duties is almost verbatim, the powers and duties from the act. They took C and D, they split number 5 into 2, but that's the same. All they added was approve invoices before payment and draft and periodically update job descriptions and made them the secretary. But other than that, it's exactly what the...
Well, yeah, and I'm just saying, like, there's little things here. I looked at C and was just like, well, should that one subordinate officers be subject to council approval or not? Like, those are, like, the little edits we'd make, but still, to
I think
head that direction.
To your point, though, too, I think there's bigger things that we need to discuss. Again, we've had this kind of minor discussion the other meeting of, even talking about should a manager, excuse me, should they be, should it be a majority or a supermajority to remove a manager? Like, there's things like that.
Yeah.
That we have, that are, I think, bigger discussions. That can, I don't want to say get a little concerned, but I think that, there's some things there too that we'll have to look at. But again, to Matt's point here too, it's like, most of this is done. The law doesn't let us go really left or right. It's just nuanced little things to make it Mill Creeks. But to your point, I mean, it's kind of set.
I would see that whoever would get the contract for putting the project together, once they were awarded that contract, I would see them coming back to this group saying, well, what do you think about it? How do you want to handle that? Because you've got a little bit of leeway there. Most of the time, it's in black and white, and you don't have any leeway, but occasionally, there may be questions where that law firm or whoever would come back to us and say, hey, what do you think about this?
Well, and that's part of the process.
Right.
I mean, once we get somebody on board, there is going to be a discussion. And most of the time also, they're going to come back to us and say, this is how I understand what you want.
Well-
And they're going to highlight things, and we're going to say, yeah, we're going to take that consideration as we review the proposals.
Well, and I was just thinking, if getting it done quickly is the factor, it's going to go a lot faster if we don't have that discussion with them directly and we just have something to say, this is what we were thinking, tell me if it's a problem, if not, write it up.
Ideally, yeah, that would
Yeah,
be the best scenario.
it would go faster instead of sitting down and going with the council
Yeah, but I think that, again,
person.
it's kind of semantics. I mean, I think we can have that discussion. I'm sure they come here too. And we'd have these discussions
Yeah.
if there's any type of, and again, talking about then the bigger things as well. Again, I keep going back to kind of the removal of a manager or those kind of things that are, they're not going to write. We're going to have to at least advise what we think. And again, that can be thrown out, but that's what we think should happen with that. So, all right, I hear you. Is there anything else you want to keep going?
Okay, we're getting into the document.
Yeah.
From the start. Submit proposals to. I think if it's going out from the board, they go back to the board.
Agreed.
If it's coming out from you, it goes back to you.
No, I agree. And again, that's just me not knowing what the heck I'm doing with that.
Okay, so like the chairman of the board in that position.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think that makes total sense.
And then
Say this first submit, how do you have it, Kylie?
just under submit proposals to.
Just eliminate care of Chairman Tom Lord.
And it
Tom
would go
Lord.
to Jim.
Pardon me?
It would go to Jim Bach.
Jim
then.
Bach.
Yes.
I'm just going to mark that.
Look at that, making progress.
You're right.
And inquiries, how about?
I'm going to blame that one on, that was John. That's the part he wrote.
Inquiries, you okay with that, Kylie? If you have an inquiry to the RFP, as opposed to just submitting the final document?
Or should that go to the supervisors?
I think it depends if the supervisors accept it with edits.
Well, I mean, if there's a question on something,
Yeah.
yeah, to Tom,
Sure.
just clear. I'm just asking. Okay, I think so too.
Can it be sent to both?
As I say, in general, everyone share it. If you have a
Or it should go
question.
to Tom and the supervisor?
Okay.
Make it both. The more people that know, then the less accusations of backroom dealings.
Okay. And then, in general, just the way the language is written to, so that's kind of the same throughout. It's written as if it's coming from this recommending body, and all of those instances should be changed to.
We need to codify or not codify, we need to amend the,
Current supervisors are going to have to amend everything.
So like, Section 8, general conditions, I just kept crossing out committee.
Section 8.
The third paragraph in there, the committee reserves the
committee-
right to.
committee reserves the right to
The
reject.
board. So,
Okay.
like, just all those instances of it, for example.
Yeah, that was probably the study.
It just depends
No,
on, you know, who it's
you're right.
coming
You're
from.
right. All right.
Supervisors.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'll find all those words.
Yep.
And with that, given that I wasn't sure that our second paragraph in number 1 was strictly necessary, given that that the interaction will be between board and, it just explains who we are. That is purely unnecessary for me to point out, but FYI. Okay.
It's fine. I think you're good there.
What else you got?
Down to number 3.
Section 3?
Section 3. So, with the administrative code, we're talking about them creating each of that. Now, we are agreeing that it's largely the part that is spelled out, correct? So like in the beginning, council organization, creating the office of the township manager are there. Like, so those parts of the code would be primarily reiterated.
Yes, but I think anybody who we're sending this to will understand what we're writing. Like, they're going to have to do the manager's powers and duties, authority over the heads of person, like, that's all going to have to be written. They're not really creating the office, but they're creating the powers of their, I mean,
Well, I mean, it's still not, I mean, we're a body that has not done this largely since the 70s from these examples. So I don't know that whoever we're choosing would necessarily know that this isn't, a home rule charter is much more common. And I don't want them to give their RFPs thinking they're creating it.
well, but we say that in the governing law in the background, right? That voters approved an optional plan form of government November 2025 under the home rule charter and optional rules plan, and then quoted the law. So, I mean, we're telling them what we need. And again, the office of the manager, that's going to have to be written into that administrative code.
Well, that'll be under powers and duties, I would assume.
But it's still the scope of work drafting the administrative code. Like, and again, this is just must cover, but not everything. But we're just kind of giving the examples of, these are all the things from the law that we've seen from the optional plan that are going to have to be put into our administrative code, and just kind of spelling that out.
At a minimum.
Yeah, I was thinking that there's room for there to be some confusion, so that people end up, when they're throwing out their numbers, are thinking, oh, we're rewriting all of this from scratch, and they don't, like the home rule, and that,
Realize 90% of it's already done.
yes. So just, it didn't seem super clear.
Well, when you send out the RFP, there's going to be some that are going to be very low, and there's some that are going to be, you're not going to just pick randomly that, just like when you go and get a quote on a repair on a car, you go high, low, medium, and you as the supervisors will be the buyer of this consulting. So they're going to decide, we want the Corvette or if we want the Yugo.
Yeah,
You're
overthinking it. We need to just send out and say, hey.
Don't you see, that's all I do.
I don't think you're wrong. Listen, and I don't think it's going to hurt anything to just, to have something in there with that, right? To say, hey, we're using this, and this is like the examples, and we can even maybe attach that to it as well. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think it would hurt.
So
I don't think it's going to.
the second sentence of number 2, or number 3, where it says, while the optional plan provides the general framework for the township's organization and structure, you think more detail than that?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. If, Callie, if you think that's, we can just maybe add to that to get the, I don't see that as an issue, but I don't think it would hurt to add that.
You're talking about before the individual items, you're talking about the paragraph in number 3.
Yeah.
The first paragraph and the second paragraph.
Well, just the fact that many of these things, like, are spelled out very clearly. Like, I don't want them to think like, oh, this will be 10 hours of work on short title and definitions alone and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we just say, well, the optional plan provides a general framework for the township's organization and the structure. Administrative code is a document that governs the day-to-day. Again, we can, let's move on with that, but I hear you. We can add something in there that kind of just spells that out, that most of this under the second-class optional plan is already written in here,
Yes.
in here. I don't think that hurts, Kylie.
I guess the concern is that we're going to get more cost to the proposal if we keep this without an explanation. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, if you think it's clear enough, but I would just rather it be a little more clear.
Okay. But we can do that. We'll figure it out.
I mean, the other thing with this too is maybe we'll just put an executive summary cover letter on it, just that maybe explains that too.
I mean, so.
Okay, what else?
In addition, there's also already an employee handbook. So what I was looking at, so for example, I don't think it was this one, I think it was the Indiana Township. Whether, I mean, I guess this is a decision down the line, like whether, because if we go creating a personnel system would be a huge overhaul, or it could just be one line saying, refer to the employee handbook.
No, that shouldn't be in there, period. It shouldn't be in there. That's something that, where it says personnel systems under 300 scope of work, I don't think that should be there. That's a good catch.
And
Because we're
just
not
to-
doing any of that.
I know I'm that guy, I'm becoming that guy, but just to let you know, in the optional plans law, it does say that the personnel system shall be governed by personnel rules which shall be prepared by the manager.
Correct.
So it's up to the
So this
manager
should-
to prepare those, not in the...
This should not be in there. I agree. That's a good catch.
Isn't there also, though, a lot of things that are already, we could say, but you have unions, you have, human resources, there's things, that they're already protected. They're
Yeah,
not
none of that will
subject to
change. None of that
So,
changes.
Worrying about the employee handbook or whatever.
Yeah. Nope, 100%. None of that changes. It's totally out of our scope. That should not have been in there, so
Okay.
took that.
Now, and this may be up for debate, but what I'm thinking, the line above that, the departmental organization, structure, and responsibilities, which I know you took right from it, which it says which departments exist, what each does, and how they report. I am under the assumption that we would keep everything as smooth as it is, like, instead of going, big decider,
Yes.
of looking at each department. Do we need Parks and Rec?
No.
That kind of thing.
None of that is our scope. I think the reason that was in there is, and again, I actually have this, I wanted to kind of make not an announcement, but just, I know some of the employees of the township do watch this, and I used an improper, I said job descriptions will change. I used that during the first meeting, which that is not true, and it's the same thing that we're talking about here. That is just in the, the administrative code, we do have the different departments to make sure that we are amending, Matt, you hear that? We're amending like the first sentence of each of those to then say this department, police, fire, reports to the manager.
Yeah, and
So
essentially,
that's kind of what we're saying there, that
essentially
The
it's just,
current supervisors, they will in the future refer to the manager.
yeah, so and that was best practice too, right? Every single department, right, just had that kind of amended into and it's not their job description, but amended into where it talked about it into the code, that they now will report. So there was no,
well, and so it's not the what department exists, what each does, it's just how they report.
right, with the reporting, correct.
Yeah, essentially it's creating this and
Correct.
fixing the manager in words.
Correct. Nope, good.
I took the liberty.
So, again, it just makes it sound very, very broad.
This is...
Yep. No, good.
What you have
Okay.
is current.
How they report. That's kind of what we want. Okay.
Oh, I know the next point is thoughts on compensation. I didn't know if you wanted to jump in there, but Dennis had something we were talking about, but similar to the boards, authorities, and commissions, including appointment and function, I don't know how you all feel about this, but in general, I would probably be recommending
Kylie, where
this.
you at?
Oh, last
Last
point
Okay.
would be, including just a stay on them,
Yeah, and
not a rewrite.
so the last point is where, like, the planning commission, zoning, that's where we'll have to, and to your point, probably shouldn't be in there. That's where there'll have to be another kind of stay right at the end to give the new manager the 30 to 60 days to keep them on board so he he or she can make his own decision.
Are you saying include that in the RFP?
Well, so here, it's just listed under the scope of work.
Yeah.
As that the planning commission, zoning hearing board, any authorities,
Thought all those
those
remain.
descriptions will all be as they are now.
Correct, and again, I guess we didn't know if they're into the code now, or if that new administrative code would need to at least have them in there. They would stay the same, nothing would change, but I'm just saying they should be part of that. I think that was the thought of
Like
that.
it can be referred to.
Yes, like it just needs to be in there, right? We don't want to just leave it out, so it needs to be part of that, still the administrative code, so that's kind of why that was.
Again, yeah, just so much of this sounds like it's a rewrite. It looks scary.
Well, I mean, again, this is just the stuff that's in everyone else's administrative code that, again, I hear you. And remember, we're gonna add that piece to it. I think that makes sense, Kylie. Okay.
All right. And then there are some other ones that, yes, there are references back. I won't go through them all.
Okay.
What did we have? Oh, I was preparing a list of documents that I think that they would need in order to get going on that. That's probably not necessary to go over now.
If this goes out to, and I'm not saying that it will, but if this goes out to an organization, a group outside of Pennsylvania, are we going to need to give them that detail?
We can have that discussion if we think the 6 groups that we had are all
in the state.
Pennsylvania, all,
I don't see any reason to send it outside of
correct.
Pennsylvania.
Anything else for the good of the order on this?
Yes. So I told you.
It's good. No, you're good.
So no matter what, just above number 4, completion schedule, that paragraph there where it says administrative code, consultant shall coordinate with and respond to comments of the township solicitor. Just didn't know in there if there would be any type of conflict of interest, if we needed to have some sort of special agreement, if it's not the solicitor who's doing it.
Well, I mean, the solicitor's going to have to agree to it. I mean, I think that no matter what we present or advise on, I mean, that was my understanding, that no matter what we advise upon and present, I mean, he has to give it an approval. I thought it would be best, and again, we can have this discussion too, that, I mean, the solicitor should be a part of this, because again, if we get to the end of this thing, we have everything done, and then it just gets kind of, I don't want to say ripped apart, I don't think that would happen, but I don't know. That's why I like the chapter by chapter and kind of agreeing. But I mean, the township solicitor, I mean, from everyone that we've talked to, is going to have to be, any township solicitor is going to have to agree to kind of what we present to them. Because what if we did it ourselves? Like, he's going to look at it, right? So that's the only reason. I just wanted people to understand that.
I suppose you run that risk of an appearance of conflict, but I think that we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't have the solicitor review everything.
Well, that's the supervisor's decision.
That's their call.
It's
That's
not
right.
our call, it's
That's
their
true.
call. If they want to do it, that's fine.
That's right.
We're presenting options.
Still my problem.
We're presenting things to the new council.
Yeah.
We're going to meet with them, and they have to approve all this.
Yep.
So I would imagine they would want somebody to look at it at that time, but
When we mention
it's
things
strictly their call.
in this, on the top of, it's the last part of scope of work, but page 3, top of page 3. Things like budget and financial process, procurement and contracting, general provisions, all of those are going to be covered by state regulations.
Again, I had notes saying that too, so.
Yeah, listen, everyone, I love you all, agreed. All we were throwing is just examples, right, of all of this. Brian, if we did this right, all of this, that's why we took some stuff out. All of this should be covered in that.
Do we need to reference that or no?
And I think we're going to, with Kylie's point, to make sure that they understand that, again, I think that's a good point, right? This isn't rewriting the Constitution. This is taking what the law already says, which is 99% done, putting it in a way that we need it as Mill Creek, making some unique tweaks of the very small 0.5%, and then going forward. So again, we're kind of all saying the same thing in a different way. Like, I don't think that this is really rocket science. Most of this is done. Another reason I want to get it I have an opinion of getting it done a little earlier. And then, again, we can move on from this. But yes, I think, it should be said, and that probably will save money if we're just, I think that they would know that, but again, it won't hurt.
Anybody that anybody that the supervisors are going to want to hire is going to already know that.
Better know it.
Yes, it's all the municipal guys, right? It's not just a law firm. But like, we're going directly to the, what?
I don't assume that they know. Again,
No,
we're in a very unique circumstance. This
I'm with
hasn't
you.
happened in a long time. Okay. So completion schedule. Just thoughts on, right now I've been going through some contracts and just the type of things where we're like, oh, here's the deadline. Food for thought. What happens if they don't meet it?
The initial RFP that John gave me had December 31st, and I just wanted to give a little bit of leeway. There's nothing in my opinion that is married to that number. Again, you've heard why I think it should be done earlier, and that's just kind of what I think. So would it absolutely kill it to be done December 31st? I don't think so.
Right now, I'm not even talking timeline. I'm talking, we hire someone, they're a sham person, whatever, take off with our money, never give us a code.
Well, but there's a contract we'd have to,
So is there you pay us 100% of the costs and something like that?
yeah, I don't know if we can put that in the RFP. I think if we have a
Don't the
contract.
supervisors figure that out? Just like, like the paving that's being done, they don't get the $1 million up front, right,
And-
that you just approved as supervisors?
There's a whole bunch of legalese in there.
Right.
Well, and I will say, to Tom's point, yes, if whoever the township would choose to hire would have to sign a professional services agreement. That's where all of those more granular details are
Which we
spelled
don't
out.
need to dig into.
That wouldn't be in this.
Correct.
All right.
Do we want to change that from November 4th to something else?
I like the December
Okay.
31st better. I will feel more comfortable with December 31st.
That's number 4, the completion schedule?
Yeah, so I just threw in November 1st, but as long as it's, I think, done by December 31st, I don't think there's any issue.
Because I do think there will be some going back and
Yep,
forth
no,
and
I-
edits and such.
Okay, cool.
By the same token, that going back and forth, you're not going to have a whole heck of a lot of time between January 1, 2027, and when those prospective candidates would have to file.
I think this is good as a worst-case scenario, right?
Expect,
I'd love to get it.
hopefully
I
it'll be
think we
before
can,
that. Well, that'd be fantastic.
right. But worst case, if this is done by, this is the only thing I believe has to be done in this calendar year.
Okay. More committee edits to board.
Yeah. And I'll make or John can make,
Board. I did look that up.
number 9?
Yes, sorry, 9. Oh,
I was just going to say, for many reasons, the sake of time being one of them, I do think anything after 7 are things that are probably going to have to be reviewed.
Okay.
And we do have like a boilerplate kind of RFP.
Okay.
With legal language and stuff like that, and I think that's probably going to have to be looked at internally and kind of added the township's verbiage in there. For all of that.
Everything else that's just general law stuff, right? So if the township has it, I agree. Everything that we need is really up to 7, right? So 1 through 7, I think, is important.
okay,
Matt, that's
yeah,
a good point.
that covers
That's a
that.
good point.
Matt, would you be able to get with John then, or whoever's
Well,
going to
I
put the
guess-
final draft together?
It'll have to be assembled here for sure, the final draft. I guess my thinking is, John, if you just have up to 7 and ship it over, then we can plug the rest of the
There you
stuff
go.
on the end.
There you go.
Over all the changes, and we'll stop talking.
When is our next meeting?
July 2nd.
Okay.
Is anybody not going to be able to make it because of the holiday?
Maybe?
You're out?
No, that was the next one. That was the 23rd.
When is July 9th the next supervisor meeting?
It's, next Tuesday at 6.
Tuesday.
Or what is that first one in July?
So that would be?
14th.
The 14th, yes.
All right, so, go ahead, John.
I mean, I can, once we finalize things, I can get this tonight and have it tomorrow. I mean, it's not a lot of change.
Just a few
Just to
words.
get it in front of people if we
Well, it would go to
agree to
Matt,
the changes.
right? If you're going to incorporate the.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, we can add that, and then it has to be reviewed
Okay.
by Mark.
So
1 through 7, you can do.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
but to vote on it, do we need to vote on this, right? To give to the supervisors?
Yes?
Yeah, to send this
So
on.
do we need a final copy?
Yes, I need a final copy before I vote.
Yeah, I mean, I think, so what we'd have to do is, John, we have to make those changes. We'll have to push this, if there's any changes, we'll make a final vote then at our next meeting. And then we'll have to give that, our meeting's the 2nd. We'll ask the supervisors to put that on to the 14th. Is that what I heard? The 14th supervisor meeting?
Okay.
And we'll need to just maybe push back a week or two, unless anybody has,
And we did push back the deadline by 2 months, from November 1st.
yeah, no, I think, I don't think that's is a thing. I just,
All right, so, okay, sorry.
no.
What other changes? Or what-
All right, so we're good with that then?
Can I go over it, so I know what we're doing?
Yes, here.
Oh.
Here.
The changes that I made, and again, I don't know if I did anything, or I didn't really, on page 1, the proposals are going to go to Jim Bach.
Did we decide on a different date, that'll be the first?
Yeah, I'm sorry. July, and instead of coming back July 31st, what's reasonable? If we come back 2 more weeks, what is that? August.
Yeah, I mean, the 14th is a Friday, 15th is a Saturday. So, say the 14th?
You want to end on a business day?
August 14th?
Yeah, August 14th.
By 5 o'clock, okay, let's go to Tim. Now, inquiries, those, again, Kylie, you're okay with Tom getting inquiries?
I think, and
And
Jim.
And Jim, okay.
If I could skip back real quick, John.
Yeah.
I would just set proposals due to 4:30. That's when the building closes, so as long as
4:30.
they have them here by close of business.
Okay, thank you. All right. Nothing else, or, what did I miss here? January 3rd, okay. On page 2, I have, under 3, we eliminated the personnel system
Correct.
requirement. Was there any,
Also, in the departmental organization structure responsibility,
yeah,
how they report, I think these, but the rest, what the department exists and what each does not.
Sa-
Was there part in paragraph 1 of beefing up language?
I'm going to do that separately,
Okay.
and then I'll give that to you.
okay. So what did you say about department organization structure? You're eliminating something?
Yeah, so I kind of did this. So get rid of
Okay.
that, but keep how they report, because that's the reporting.
Got it, okay. And that was it on page 2. Page 3, we changed it to the end of December.
Yep, December 31st.
And that's all I had, unless somebody speak up.
You were going to go through and do the committees to boards? 'cause they're
Yes, yes,
scattered.
yes. Committees to boards. In general. Okay.
And everything after 7 would be draw.
Yes.
And we changed that to August 14th.
I think, yeah, 6 is going to have to be changed.
6 with the,
The top of page 4, John, is that what you're saying?
Huh?
At the very top of
Yes.
page 4, that date?
and also the submission,
Yes.
because it's not coming, needs to go to the supervisors and Chairman Jim Bach, not Tom
Yes,
Laird.
There you go.
right, got that. And now what email should we use, by the way?
No, I just,
What email?
What emails?
for Jim,
For Jim? and-
J. Bach,
Okay.
J-B-O-C-K, at millcreektownship.com.
Okay. All right. And I have Tom's, obviously. Okay, how about, right, the last paragraph on page 6, or item 6, proposal of submission. Must submit inquiries in writing to Tom Laird, Chairman, for the proposal. Do we want to?
Yeah, that needs to change.
That needs to change, right, to Jim Bach
Correct.
at the new thing. Do we want to copy Tom? Or should that go to Jim and then Jim somehow gets it to Tom?
I'm sure it'll make its way to Tom.
Okay, all right. And that's all I had written, unless somebody has...
It's really not that much, John.
No, it's-
We did a pretty good job.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Good discussion.
It must be the scientist in her. No, I don't mean it as a bad thing. Scientists are very thorough.
All right. Anything else? I mean, again, I think that's the main gist of
Just get the ball rolling.
what we wanted to do today. And then everything else, I think, kind of falls into place. But at least I think there's a really good plan for this, for the first step. Did you have?
I do have just
Yeah,
a couple items,
please.
really briefly. One, to follow up on last meeting, I did get our IT department to create a transition at millcreektownship.com email, so we can start publicizing that if we want. If people have questions, they can add that, and I can come up with some language on the website that they can submit questions to us, and we can add a communications section to the agenda to deal with those. Is that?
Good.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Is that it, Matt? Or did
I have
you-
one more.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
The other thing is, I did this, just last week, have a conversation with the Department of Community and Economic Development, their local government services folks, and they said that they would be willing, if we would like them, to appear, maybe potentially virtually, at the July 2nd meeting to have kind of a workshop with the committee
Awesome.
and go over things and talk and answer any questions we may have. So if that's,
Yeah,
if we'd like to
100%.
do that, I'll work to set that up with
Okay.
them.
Is that Mary Amon?
No, it's actually Bethany Williams, who is the manager for local government services, and she said she'd put a group of folks together.
Because I did talk to Mary.
Oh, okay.
About maybe some consultant
Oh.
address.
Gotcha.
She was going to get back.
Okay, and yeah, Bethany said she'd work with her team, so Mary may be part of that as well.
Okay.
All right, I just have two more things, and maybe for the good of the order. One is, you just reminded me of that, Matt, with what you're saying. So I did reach out to Ryan Bizzaro, Perry Wood, Pat Herr from the Community Foundation, and again, it's probably shot in the dark, but said, is there anything out there, right, from a grant standpoint, any municipalities that are moving, there has to be something that could maybe fray some of the costs of this. So no promises or anything, but they all reached back out and said, hey, let us do some research and look, so hopefully we'll have something next. The last thing that I wanted to bring up, and then we can kind of move on to the next agenda, is we did talk about this in our subcommittee and forgot to bring it up, but we need to check, and we've been told this has all been done, right, but we need to check with the election board to just make sure that it's public from our committee, that everything's been checked, that they understand the new frame of work of the government, they understand how that's going to work.
I think that needs to be, even though we're told that it's done, I think we should verify that from the committee.
Is that Chris Drexel? Or not the elected, like the staff people?
Yeah, yes, we can probably ask, reach out to Tanya Fernandez and see if there's anything from there, and then go to the Board of Elections. either
Sounds
or.
like a volunteer's
Yeah,
coming
that
up.
sounds fine. Yep, I just wanted to touch base. I didn't want to go out of step of the committee.
Yeah, Cody, that'd be
So I
awesome
just
if you
wanted
could kind of reach out and then,
I was already ready to fire away, but I was like, oh, better pull it back to make sure everybody's on board.
So
So
you
we get those.
suggesting then that we put that on, like, our website, or?
I don't know, I mean, I want to know. I mean,
I think it's just assignments for next meeting.
yeah, I don't think it
No, I mean, once we get that,
approved.
yes,
like-
once we
like-
get the, right,
Acknowledgement that it's...
acknowledgement that we're all set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could add that as a
Be very
news
disappointed
item
we
or
got
a,
to that far and
you know, I will say...
It'd be nice to let everybody know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's been checked.
Going back to the email address and the questions we may get, I foresee putting up like an frequently asked questions section on the website. We can talk about, again, like I said, we'll get quite a few questions, but I think they're going to be grouped into certain topics. It's not, we don't have to answer every individual. So we can work as a group to come up with, here's the general question people are asking, here's how we want to answer it, put that up, and that might be another one, like,
Yeah.
is the election board ready for everything in
Right.
2027?
Yes,
Yes, it is. Here's how it is.
Get a receipt.
Should this committee be recommending to the Board of Supervisors, or at least suggesting to the Board of Supervisors, who we'd like to see the RFP sent out to?
Sure.
Yeah, 100%, I mean.
You mentioned
So
the-
again, just to throw it out for, I mean, so we, in the subcommittee, we discussed, obviously, McDonald Illig, Knox, Elderkin. There was AWL, Natupsky, Gary Natupsky. Also, John had, and again, you sent it to me in email.
I didn't send that, I just,
There was two other consulting groups like Jerry's AWL group from Pennsylvania to send that out to.
I think maybe just a Word doc, and if you just put recommended recipients, point by point.
Yes,
and then
100%.
we-
So I will do that, because I did reach out to get the name of the person that should be sent to as well.
Oh.
So I do have that. I forgot. So I will, when we send that into the or when we go to vote, at least, we'll have that. And then again, if anybody wants to add, or it can't hurt to get as much information as we can.
I just think it makes their life easier.
And that's our goal, Kylie, to make your life easy.
I'm a committee member right now.
All right, are we good? Is that, I mean, for the next,
We have our assignments.
I mean, I think, yeah, for the goals and the assignments, let's get this, obviously, this RFP fixed, updated, get it out to all the committee members to make sure if there's, anything that you guys think that we can kind of get that through. I think the goal is to bring back a fresh, approved vote on that, give that to the supervisors at their next meeting. Cody, I think you have a big ask to do too, just to talk to the election board, make sure that we're all good. And then the only other thing too is, Matt, and maybe that's you, is the general, or Kylie, if you could, we can reach out. I'd love to just see, again, we already have the township already has a contract with General Code, but just what that updating and, the ordinances would be for the power structure.
And Kylie and I have both reached out to them
Okay.
and have not heard back yet, so we'll give it another go.
Sleep it a little better. Do the subcommittees need to meet
I mean,
before the next one?
I don't think so, unless, I think, after this one, we probably will. But I mean, again, some of these might be able to be pushed back until at least we have this stuff in order.
This is the big one right now.
Yeah, but I think we got to get this thing out and get it going.
And just for the record, I assigned myself 2 tasks of setting up the email address and reaching out to DCED and getting that meeting set up, or the stuff for July 2nd.
Okay, awesome. So, Matt, so there's an FAQ site that will eventually,
Yeah, our website has a bunch of different modules built into it. You can have like a gallery of images, or you can have, and one of them is an FAQ module. So you can basically just go in and punch in a question, answer, and they'll show up either in carousel, or you can just plug that right in the website. You just need the
the data to put in it, you know?
Okay, awesome. All right, are we good? Is there anything else that you can think of that we need for the next meeting, which really isn't that far away here? What?
I went like this.
Oh, okay. All right, I think we can move on to citizens to be heard. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak, we are all ears.
I just want you to know, January 2nd, Jerry's video, Mayflower's coming into town, they're gonna do a circle in the bay. Oh, July 2nd, excuse me. So, will you have a forum, or a forum, whatever you wanna call it? Is anybody gonna be involved in that? Because they have signed up. Oh, I'm just saying, I'm just letting you guys know.
Okay.
That's all. And one other thing, I guess I gotta get up there. Line for line, if you go back on,
ALOM, and you go back and review every time they were here, they went strictly by chapter 29, right down through it. So every time they spoke, I forget the other guy's name, it was verbatim to what Title 53, Chapter 29 said. And I do apologize you didn't have any money left, but we paid $1,818 for every page of that report. So I'm just letting you know that, you know, if you look at Chapter 30, which I was doing back here, it gives you, you punch it, you tap it, it gives you the duties and everything else. So it's really simplifying what you're asking for.
Correct. No, correct. Thank you.
I guess we don't have to sign in.
We gotcha.
So why are you contacting Ryan Bizzaro and Perry Wood and?
So I just wanted to see if there's any type of grant, anything that may be out there to help fray some of the costs of this. It's a shot in the dark, but didn't think that that would hurt to kind of just talk to those guys to see if there's anything that could be done to kind of fray some of the costs for Mill Creek.
Because the supervisors will probably vote no?
No, I mean, it can't hurt, right? I mean, if I don't know if there's any matching funds, I know there may have been in the past. And again, I don't know if, but anything to help with this, I think it couldn't hurt. That's kind of why I threw it out there.
Okay. And the DCED, why were you contacting DCED?
That was, may I? Yeah. I mean, that was me. I reached out to them because they're a resource. I know that they helped with the Government Study Commission, and so reached out to see if they had any publications or
Okay.
information I could share with and they offered to have a meeting with us, so.
All right, and then the law firms that you mentioned, you said Knox, Elderton, Natupsky, and who else?
I believe Knox, Elderkin Law Firm, McDonald Illick, the AWLL Group. There's two, and again, I apologize, Jerry, or John just gave us two other names that he got today.
Those aren't law firms, though.
But they're
Are you talking about law
they're
firms?
consultants like the AWL Group. So
Yeah,
they're-
so they're like,
So-
they're like the fresh set of eyes, because you
So
said
yeah,
the supervisor, or the solicitor would still have to approve this?
Correct. He's still going to have to give it the blessing, but we're just going out to the other municipal law firms in the city that understand Mill Creek, and then some of the consultant groups that specialize in this to try to get, I don't know, maybe the best price or also the best, the best that we could do, I think, for Mill Creek to kind of see what is out there and what the cost would be.
Going to the
Okay.
experts. to help us.
Wise, very wise. And then is there a way that we, the citizens, can get a copy of what you're working on, the draft or whatever, so we know what book you're working from? I'm clueless because I'm only listening to you, and, I don't know what you're researching.
Yeah, I think when we get when we get this done, what's the best way to do that, Matt? Is it?
I would say the website, again, there's a documents module. I can easily upload it and people can
So
get it right.
if we kind of get this in order, we'll then throw that out there. It's actually, it's pretty boring, but I hear you. We'll make sure that everybody can kind of see, what we're looking at, what we do, but let us kind of doctor this up, make it pretty, and then, we'll make it public for sure.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I appreciate your time.
Okay, just so I understand, and I was a little late, I was out to dinner with Marcia Terry, sorry. But anyways, I know that you mentioned, Tom, that you were trying to get a third-party solicitor to have kind of a different scope than what our local guy would have. And you did mention some attorney firms, so are those the people that you're going to be asking? Because you kind of talked about all of them as well as people that would help with the actual, I can't even think of the name of it right now, but the government changes, if any.
So there's two separate things. There's the administrative code that we're
Administrative code, that's it.
So we thought, I mean, in subcommittee, and I think we're good here, at least until we vote on it, is to not just have one person do this, but to send it out for an RFP. So there's all the municipal law firms. They also are solicitors in other Harbor Creek. There are other municipalities around here. So Knox, Elderkin, McDonald-Illig, which is the township solicitor office. And there's also 3 consultant groups. So I say AWL, what is it?
ALOM.
ALOM, sorry.
Yeah.
AWOL, that sounds about right sometimes. So, and then there's 2 other consultant groups that do this
Just this kind of thing, yeah.
We wanted to kind of get a flavor of both, send it out to all of them, and kind of see what we would get back.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, we're good?
We may have one.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Excuse me for my ignorance.
No, you're good.
So, just name, please, for the...
Excuse me?
Your name, please.
Dave.
Yeah.
We're gonna be able to see these pages that you guys are all going through after their draft is done, when it's finalized?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just a working session, so let us get it right, with all the right dates and all the right, because right now, again, it's not right.
I get it.
Yeah.
But then,
I think we can have it before we vote on it. So we can have this before our next meeting, when we if we can get those changes made, we can make it public so that everyone can see it before, again, what I said.
No, I don't think we ought to make it public until the draft is approved. I don't know, we should be sending a draft up until the document is finalized.
Working document, probably not.
No, I think we need to vote on it, and then it
After
goes
this
public.
group votes on it.
Yes, it makes it official, then it can go on the record, not before.
okay.
So you will definitely see it before the supervisors would vote on it.
Okay. I guess my question is then, do the residents have any input on the draft, on how the draft is going to be formed, or how it's worded, or is that just you guys are going to come up with a plan?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is relatively boilerplate, meaning, hey, we need the administrative code written. 99% of this is already done. But we need this kind of written for Mill Creek. That's really all this thing says, and I think when you see it, we just kind of give quick background, explain that what we want, and then again, as things come back, we'll be very public with, everything as that comes back, and as we get quotes back as well.
Okay, I'll be looking forward to checking out the website, seeing the different forms and stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Good.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion adjourned, meeting adjourned.
All opposed, welcome to stay.
8:24.